Is it the view of the president's communications team that he is equally adept in all settings in terms of communications, or are there some that play to greater strengths, some where he probably isn't as strong, etc.?
I will tell you this, the president is the best communicator that we have in the White House.
Well, Joe Biden and his press secretary have been trolled online for that comment. Karine Jean-Pierre, in a press briefing, made the declaration to a reporter that Joe Biden was the best communicator in the White House. The problem is, in the last few years, Joe Biden has been known for making gaffe after gaffe. His age has been a problem. At 80 years old, he is the oldest sitting president in history. But the calls for him to sit a cognitive exam are much more about the fact that he mumbles, stumbles on words, looks confused as to what he's meant to do next, and even messes up his own administration's policies. One of the worst instances that plagued the Biden administration was when the president scanned a room asking where a recently deceased congresswoman was.
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
When this happened, the press secretary dodged questions from reporters on Joe Biden's moments of confusion.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
These moments of confusion are happening with the frequent.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, there are
Americans are watching this and are having concerns. What do you say to that? This is a legitimate question. We need to have some answers.
At the end of the
So by the press secretary labelling Joe Biden as the best communicator in the White House, it naturally prompted online users to call it out. One person wrote, "This is truly a cause for alarm and brings into question the talent and sanity of everyone in the Biden administration." Another wrote, "Not a particularly high bar, one must admit. Again, the best communicator that we have in the White House. Is she joking? Finally, God help us." Benny Johnson tweeted a combination of the president's gaffes and wrote, "Joe Biden destroys biggest lie his own press secretary has ever told."
Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of presidential jobs, I will veto it. So when a drug deal was going down, she'd pick up the phone and call and say to that police officer with a cell phone that the drug deal's going down, knowing that she would never be fingered, knowing that she would never be the one told it happened. And so crime began to drop. They had to know who the local liquor store. They had to know and walk in and shake hands with the local minister. They had to know. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happened? You know how much I'm going to do with the deficit this year? $1.5 trillion. No, there are about 16 there I've already gone in for yet, and a lot more are asked. Another 20 or so. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. When you build a charging station, it's like back in the day when my grandpa worked for the American Oil Company back in the turn of in the 1920 in that area. They went from state to state convincing people that allow them to put 20,000 gallons of gasoline under the ground. They didn't want them around.
Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson is the former White House physician to George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. For the last few years, he has continued to call for Joe Biden to sit a cognitive exam and prove he is sound of mind and physically and mentally fit to lead the United States. Even just yesterday, he tweeted a recent video writing, "Joe Biden was lost today trying to read off the teleprompter. He couldn't even say Washington correctly. He must have a cognitive exam during his next physical. Something is not right with him."
Bridge over the Holly River. Look, in Washoe County in Nevada, we're spending $89 billion to add several lanes